Okay, so just coming into a seated, comfortable seated position, preferably not hooking your ankles because there's no way you'll ever get your knees to the floor, and it sort of locks you into the psoas. So have one foot behind, one foot in front. You may want to put that foot against the perineum, just the floor of the pelvis, to hold the energy in. If you've got a block or a cushion, you might want to sit on that, but don't sit on it completely. You're just sitting on the edge, so your sit bones are on there and the pelvis is tilting open and forward slightly. So just however you're comfortable, really. Sometimes it is easy to sit on a bit of a folded blanket to get your foot at the perineum, just to hold that energy in. So we'll start with some Nadi Shodhana. We'll keep working with the nadis a little bit and really getting them open and clean, getting in touch with them. So we'll start with regular Nadi Shodhana, 3 fingers, the middle finger of the right hand. Left hand chin mudra, pointer finger and thumb touching. If the palm's up, it's gaining wisdom. If the palm's down, it's gaining knowledge. So whatever you feel like you need. So right hand, middle finger at Ajna, and then the 2 outer fingers at the corners of the eyebrows. Back of the neck's long, just lean forward and stick your bottom out, and then come right onto your sit bones. And then lifting right from the tailbone all the way up to the top of the front of the chest, and then let the shoulders fall down and back and ground your sit bones into the earth. And then lengthening into the back of the neck and reaching out the crown of the head. If you get sciatica or very tight down the bottom or the outside of the legs, you can sit in Thunderbolt on your knees. So we'll just begin with the breathing. So just inhaling through, blocking the right nostril, inhale through the left nostril for the count of 4. Holding the breath in for the count of 4. Block the nostril, exhale the right nostril for the count of 4. Inhale the right nostril for the count of 4. Block and hold for the count of 4. Exhale left side for the count of 4. So the side you breathe out of, you're breathing back into, then you change over. Now when you're breathing, make sure that you're beginning the in and out breath soft and gentle. So you get a nice, long, slow, controlled breath. If you breathe strongly at the beginning, the breath will be short and it won't be deep. So nice and soft and gentle, the beginning of the in-breath and the out-breath. Make sure you're breathing in right from the belly. Feel the belly expanding. That way you know you're breathing completely into the lungs. The deeper you breathe, the further down the diaphragm pushes and the further out the belly should come. And then as you breathe out, make sure you're drawing that belly back in. And when I say belly, I mean below the navel as well. Make sure you're not just pulling back through the solar plexus above the navel. Otherwise you're just pulling on the adrenaline all the time. So full breath in, lower belly, mid-belly, chest. All the way up. Exhale, lower belly, mid-belly, solar plexus, chest. Inhaling the belly, solar plexus, lower ribs, chest. So make sure that you're breathing into every area of the body. And even breathing into the back of the body, not just the front of the body. So make sure as you're breathing in the lower back, the mid-back, the upper back, all of it is expanding. All the way up into the throat to the head. One side of the nose is blocked, you can always just pull that nasal cavity open with your finger. Now taking that attention a little bit deeper now, bring your focus to the spine and the spinal column. So just inside the bony cavity. Shodhana Nadi is coming up through the spinal cord, and Ida and Pingala are coming up either side of the spinal cord. If you're getting a sore shoulder, feel free to change your hand too, or use the sit bones. So as we breathe in now, imagine as you're breathing up through the left side, you're breathing up the left nadi, Ida nadi, and feel it. Imagine you can feel it coiling around the spinal cord. And as you exhale, you're exhaling down through Pingala, the right nadi. And then as you inhale, you're inhaling up through Pingala, the right nadi. Then changing nostrils, exhaling out down Ida nadi. If you have really sore shoulders, sore neck, you can always do this with just awareness and not use your hands at all. Around your nose and your eyebrow. Once you've exhaled out the left nostril, you can bring the hands down. And then we'll breathe up through Shodhana Nadi, the center nadi. So bring your attention deep in the spine into the spinal cord. Keep the back of the neck long, lifting out the crown of the head. Just push your sit bones into the floor and lengthen your body, and then sink the spine toward the floor, the tailbone. Now just feel the spine coming up through the lower back, the lower lumbar. Feel the spine moving up between the lower vertebra. Feel the spine moving up through the upper thoracic to the base of the neck, and feel the spine lifting up in the back of your neck, making the crown of the head reach up to the universe. And as you inhale up through the spinal cord, and then hold for the count of 4 in Ajna Chakra in the center of the head, and then exhale back down to the base. As soon as you exhale, begin to inhale straight away. There's no pause at the end of the out breath. Letting that breath go, and very slowly just move your legs out and open. And start to give a little pitter-patter to the inner thighs. Just slapping the ligaments a little and softening them up. And then giving them a little chop. And then getting all the fingertips together and star hammer quite hard and fast. And then rub up and down. Okay, so again, just lean forward, stick your bottom out, take your legs as wide as you can, then come back onto the sit bones. And then we're just going to exhale, reach toward the left foot or touch the left foot. Inhale, come to center. Exhale to the other side. So inhale as you come up and exhale as you move across. Keep the sit bones on the floor. And come back to center. Then as you exhale, reach the right hand toward the left foot. Make sure you don't round the back out to try and reach it. Keep the spine straight. Just go as far as you can, keeping the spine long and open. Inhale, center. Exhale as you twist. Keep going. And come back to center. Just getting that nice loosening into the spine. And then bring the feet together, keeping the heels level. Interlace your fingers around the toes. Yeah, and just lift the sit bone off the floor. And then rock over to the other sit bone. And just start to rock side to side a little. Massaging over those sit bones there, which helps to also ignite the pranic channels. And then come back to center. And then just start to flap the knees a little, just working into loosening up, mainly the hip joints. So we can get all that energy freed up around the base. Get the breath moving to the base. And then find those sit bone muscles. So the bones you're sitting on, find the sit bone muscles underneath them. And just start to squeeze and release those. So it's pushing the knees down. As you release, don't just let go. Let go with control as well. So you're really getting strength into the base of the body. And then just squeezing the right sit bone muscle a few times. And then moving over to the left sit bone muscle. Just feel the difference in your hips. And then both together. And then take the legs out to straight. Take the hands behind you and just shake out the legs a little. Fingertips pointing straight ahead, hands slightly behind you, toes pointing straight ahead, legs together. Just tuck the tail slightly and then lift the hips up to the sky. Press up through the hands. Drop the belly back to the spine, the chest back. Keep the back of the neck long, so don't drop the head back. Push the hips up a little higher. And then exhale, come back down. Now just walk on your sit bones, lifting the legs as you walk forwards. Starting to loosen up that base of the body, really working into the hips and nourishing the joints. Walking backwards, lifting the legs. Pumping up from the base already of the body, blood, hormone, energy. Lift the legs, cross your arms over your chest, lift your eyebrows and walk forward again. Lift the hips up, get some movement into the hips. And walk backwards. So easy, isn't it? And take the legs out to straight, walk forward again. And walk backward again. Come to lying on your belly. Just getting into the front of the hips now. Maybe if I go side on. Good. And then just bring the forehead to the floor, the hands next to the breasts, the elbows close into the body, and then push the elbows toward the floor so it presses the lower shoulder blades down and back in. Lift the tops of the shoulders up to the sky. Take the forehead on the floor, back of the neck long, and just hold here for a little while and let the neck open up and the shoulders. If your elbows are touching the floor, your hands are too far forward. So just slide the hands back. So even though you're aiming the elbows towards the floor, they shouldn't actually touch. Push the elbows a little bit closer to the floor. Now gently press the hips into the floor. Inhale, begin to lift the chest and keep pressing the hips down. Try not to use the hands at first. Head's coming up, back of the neck stays long. And then lift a little higher. Feel the pressure come into the hands. Keep the shoulders down and back as you push the hands into the hands to lift the torso. Keep the hips on the floor. Pull the chest up to the sky so you're really stretching the solar plexus and putting a little bit more arch into the whole spine rather than just into the lower back. Inhale, coming all the way up to cat. Exhale, back to pose of the child. Take a few breaths here. Feel the spine lengthening and opening. We worked into the base, and now we're working into the spine to get the energy, the prana, to flow through the spine. Pose of the child's really good to help realign all the disc in between the vertebrae as well. It's one of the best exercises you can do for your spine. At the same time, now the forehead is touching the earth. So tuck the chin in just so the top of the forehead's touching and the back of the neck's long and open. And imagine in your brain that tiny network of thousands of nerves. And imagine those as the roots of a tree. And feel those roots growing into the earth. So see your roots of your tree from your brain going into the earth and grounding your mind, connecting the mind with the earth. Now begin to breathe up and down the spine, breathing in up the spine, breathing out down the spine. Inhale, coming up into cat stance, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, the wrists, and the knees underneath the hips. So the knees are just about a fist apart, not too wide. We'll just do cat-cow at first, just to start getting a deep stretch into the spine. So roll the shoulders back away from the ears, the belly's falling toward the floor. Take a deep breath in. Then as you exhale, curl the tail under and start to move up through the spine into the solar plexus and lower ribs there. And just press up to the sky. Now at the same time, draw the chin in toward the chest. Really stretch the neck and the shoulders. Inhale, release, looking up. Hold the breath in. And then exhale, curl the tail under a little, move up through the spine all the way into the solar plexus above the navel and into the lower ribs. Tuck the chin in. Inhale, release, looking up. A couple more breaths. So as you curl the tail under, you're engaging the ovaries or the testes. Then you're pulling up into the solar plexus, the adrenals, and then pulling the throat in into the thyroids and parathyroids. So all the paired glands of the body, inhale, release, look up. And again, exhale, mula bandha, as you lift the pelvic floor, the ovaries and the testes. Mula bandha, as you begin the base. Inhale, release, looking up. Okay, and again, lifting from the base right at the perineal body, Mula Bandha, coming up into the solar plexus, Uddiyana Bandha, draw the chin right in, Jalandhara Bandha, igniting all those paired glands. And inhale, release, look up. Now we're just going to do a full ripple up through the whole spine. So we're going to go beyond cat-cow. We're going to go beyond the solar plexus all the way through the chest. So curl the tail between the legs and then start moving up through the spine. And bring the awareness as you're pressing out through each vertebra, pressing it up to the sky. Coming all the way into the solar plexus. Then bring the weight to the hands and start spreading your shoulder blades. Bring the weight further forward in the fingers, lift the head, lengthen the back of the neck. And then push from the center of the forehead into the center of the head. And then look up, release out the crown of the head. Come back into the knees, a bit further back. Curl the tail between the legs. And then spread the sacrum open, moving up the spine. Spread the lower lumbar. The weight's coming forward slightly. Spreading all that solar plexus area, the lower ribs. Weights in the hands as you spread the shoulder blades. Weights coming towards the fingers as the shoulders drop and the back of the neck lengthens, face parallel to the floor. And then push from the center of the forehead to the center of the head, release, look out the crown of the head. So just get some energy moving up through the spine, curling the tail under, and then bringing the awareness to every vertebra and the spinal column. And bring that energy up into the center of the head. And then release, go back to the base. So if you're having problems being on your shoulders, you can just sit on your heels and ripple your spine from base to brain as well. Just curl the tail and then bring the energy up. Just a couple more rounds. Really feel that energy moving through the spine. So don't just be so aware of the muscles now. Just be aware of that energy moving through the spine. And then rest back to pose of the child. Bring the hands by the sides, the palms up to the sky. Forehead to the floor. Keeping the awareness on the spinal cord. And then lift with your buttocks and unravel, coming back into cat stance. And bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes under, press up to down dog, straightening your legs. Sinking the heels into the floor. Press up through the palms and spin the armpits in toward the cheeks so the shoulders are rolling away from you. Have the ears next to the arms. Lengthening the back of the neck, release the mind. From the shoulder blades, push up to the tailbone, piking the buttock high. And then from the tailbone, sink down into the heels. Press the heels toward the floor. Let the belly draw back toward the spine. Feel the lower abdomen drawing back to the spine and lifting up toward the lower ribs, just like a Uddiyana Bandha. Keep pushing up through the arms so you're not all in the shoulders. You can make a little slight cup in the palms of your hands for your grip. Keep rolling the shoulders out away from the ears and pace the shoulder blades into the back. Inhale, come up on the toes. And then exhale, sink back to the heels. A few more times. Inhale, coming up on the toes. Exhale, sink back in the heels. Then inhale, take the right leg up to hip height. Exhale, come forward into a plank and just tiger curl, bringing that knee into the chest. Keep the shoulders rolled back. Inhale, taking the leg to to hip height or higher if you can, without throwing the hips out. And then exhale, just come forward, curl that knee into the chest. So squeezing into the right side of the body. So more of the awareness will be moving into Pingala Nadi, the right Nadi. And then bring that knee in between the hands and we'll come into a pigeon. So the foot you might have to sit on your foot. You might be able to bring the foot out to the side a little so you're on your thigh. And if you're quite flexible, that ankle may be coming out level with the knee. So just where you're at. Before we go down, just rock side to side a little. Inhale, drift to your right. Exhale, work that left hip toward the floor. Inhale, drift to your right on the right thigh. And then exhale, work that left hip toward the floor. Just rock and massage the muscles, feed the ligaments, and then keep the left hip toward the floor. Now push through the hands, lift the chest and bring the shoulders down. Really pull the chest up. And breathe. And some of you might be able to lift your hands off and fly down like a pigeon. And others, you will be able to walk your hands forward and bringing the hands underneath the forehead. So again, make sure the back of the neck stays long and open. If it's really difficult for you to stretch and get that thigh anywhere near the floor, you might want to rest your thigh onto a block. Breathe in, into the tension. Breathe out into the tension. Make it a little more intense. Breathe in, into the tension. And then breathe out, let it go through the whole body. Just let that energy disperse. Now just breathe gently in and out. If there is a very sore spot, really breathe in and out of that sore spot. Get the energy to flow through that area. Stretching through the sciatic nerve. The sciatic nerves in the leg are the thickest nerves in the body. Between the two of them, they're supplying 60% of the energy through the body. This is also where we hold deep-seated emotions and where it stops us from moving forward. So this posture is a really good posture to help you to move forward in life. Inhale, pressing up through the hands, lift the chest, walk the hands in, lift the chest, keep working that left hip toward the floor, even bring it closer to the floor if you can now. Really try to get the crest of the left hip to the floor, the perineum to touch the floor. Take that arch in the spine, bring some energy into the spine, the nerves around the spine, the lymph, the veins. And then tuck the left toes under, lifting the knee. Step the right leg back, coming back to down dog. And just walk on the spot in down dog now. Keep aware of the posture, rolling the armpits in toward the cheeks so the shoulders are rolling away. Sinking the heels to the ground. Abdomen's coming back to the spine and lifting into the ribs like a little Uddiyana, Bandha. And really be aware of rolling over your toes. Give those toes a good stretch. And then sink the right heel into the floor. Inhale, lifting the left leg just to hip height or higher if you don't throw the hips out of place. And then exhale, coming forward into that plank tiger curl. Inhale, take the leg up and out, down dog. And then exhale, tiger curl. Just a few more times. Ida Nadi, the moon Nadi on the left, the feminine energy, the cool, calming energy. And then bring the knee in between the hands. So again, placing that foot wherever you're comfortable. You may be sitting on it. You may be able to get it slightly out to the side, but still have to put your thigh on a block. Or you might be able to bring that foot right out in line with the knee. And then just rocking side to side. So exhale as you rock to the right hip, the crest of the right hip. Inhale as you drift to the, exhale as you drift to the left thigh. Inhale. Inhale to the left thigh. Exhale, drift, that right crest of the hip comes to the floor. Make sure the back of the leg's straight and the top of the foot's on the floor. Just rock through it, loosening all of that pelvic tension, that deep-seated emotion around the bottom. Even the tension you may be holding around the crest of the right hip, here now where the valve is to the small and large intestine. Okay, and then you can either bring your hands, bring the hands right in, lift the chest up, take that arch through the whole spine, ignite the spine. Doesn't have to be big to ignite the spine. And then exhale, fly forward or walk the hands forward, coming all the way down, and then bring the hands underneath the forehead. Just keep reaching forward out the crown of your head, and you'll notice the crest of the right hip will go a couple of millimeters closer to the floor. And just feel where that tension is. Breathe in into the tension. Breathe out into the tension. Make it more intense. Breathe in into the tension, and as you breathe out, disperse it through the whole body. Let it go. Just let the breath freely move through those blocked areas. Where there's pain, it's only blocked energy. You need to unblock it. And then pressing up through the hands or flying up to come back up. And then you make the pigeon sound. And take that arch in the spine again. Just ignite that energy in the spine. Really lift the chest up to the sky. Don't just think of the arch in the lower back. Our lower back's arching, mid back and upper back's arching. And a slight curve in the back of the neck. Don't drop the head right back, just curve it. Stretching the thyroids in the throat. And then bringing the head down, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, press up to down dog again. Bring the hands in line with the shoulders, spin the armpits in toward the cheeks, shoulders rolling away from you. Feel the shoulder blades pacing in the back. Start rolling over the toes again, walking on the spot. And we'll just put a little twist into this now. So as you bend the right leg, look underneath the left armpit. So you're twisting the body slightly. Inhale, bring the right heel to the floor, bending the left knee. Look under the right armpit and just keep moving side to side, stretching the body out a little. Still feeling that abdomen coming back toward the spine. So with every step, you should feel a little bit of massage to the lower belly. And then sink both heels to the floor. Inhale, pike the buttock high, bring the knees down to the floor and come back to sitting on the heels. Good. Okay. And then we're going to just come into camel. So bring the knees slightly apart. And if you can, sit in between your feet. And then bring the hands onto the heels, open the knees a little bit more. So some of you may be able to tuck the tail under and start to arch up through the spine all the way through. If you can't do that, if you haven't got the range yet, you can take the hands slightly behind you. And again, just start to push the hips up, curl the tail under slightly, push out through the pubic bone, roll the chest out. So just wherever you can arch from and how far you can arch up. And then exhale, just come back down to sitting. And we're just going to go up and down a few times. We just really want to get energy moving in and around the spine. So curl the tail under slightly, start to push the pubic bone up to the floor. Then open into the solar plexus, open into the chest. And release the head back a little, but don't scrunch the neck, shoulders rolling back. And then exhale, come down to sitting. So we're just going to move with the breath a little now. Inhale, curl the tail slightly, opening, a nice cleansing exercise, an exercise to help build confidence and energy. And then exhale, come back down, just a couple more. Inhale, rolling up. Exhale, coming down. Last one. And then come to lying on your back. And just bring the feet up next to your buttock, just a fist apart, not too wide apart. And just rest the belly back toward the spine. Again, bring all the awareness to the spine. And then just swing the knees left to right, but don't take them too far, just until the hips lifting off the floor. Exhale as you drift, inhale as you come back to center. Now as you're moving the legs, grip the inner thighs just a little bit, so you're moving through the inner thighs, not just dropping side to side. And feel the strength you begin to gather around the pelvis. As you drift to the right, push through the right arm as well to bring your legs back up. So use the inner thighs and the arms. Move the head the opposite side the knees are going. So So we're just giving that little movement to the entire spine. And come back to center. And then bring the feet off the floor, bring the knees toward the chest and just rock backward and forward a little. Don't use your hands on your knees. Just use the legs and the lower back to open the base of the spine. And then do little circles with the knees. Try not to push the belly forward. Keep the belly back toward the spine. So move deep into the body. And then change direction. And then separating the knees and circling the knees open and closed. Keep awareness on that lower abdomen especially. And now make sure you're not gripping in the solar plexus and pushing downward. You should still feel everything sucking back toward the spine and up into the lower ribs, and then change direction. Bring the feet to the floor, drop the knees out to the sides. So as we inhale, bringing the legs back in, engage the inner thighs. And then as you exhale, drop the knees open. Inhale, engage the inner thighs, work the lower ribs into the floor. Exhale, drop the knees open. Inhale, bringing it up, press the lower ribs to the floor, the sternum to the spine, and open. Good. And then bring the feet just hip width apart again, so just about a fist apart. We're just going to curl up and down through the spine. Again, getting that energy to move through the spine. So curl the tail between the legs and start rolling up vertebra on vertebra. Keep pushing through the feet evenly between the left and the right foot. Come all the way to the shoulders. Make sure the weight's even between the blade and the instep, the heels and the toes. And then exhale to start to roll down through the spine again, vertebra on vertebra. Push your heels out a little bit more out to the sides. Inhale again, curl the tail under, then begin to peel the spine off the floor. So again, when you're peeling up and down, make sure you're not pushing your belly forward as you come up or pushing down from the solar plexus into the belly. You want to curl the tail and start lifting all the organs upward. We have too much prolapse these days, mainly from sitting in chairs. So it's really important that you don't push the belly up and arch the back to come up, or then push down from the solar plexus and then you're crunching the back of the neck as well. So just very subtly curl the tail under and then start to peel off vertebra on vertebra, drawing the organs up. And start to feel the heat building in your spine. Now hold yourself up and exhale, just drift the knees slightly to the left. Keep pushing up through the pubic bone. Inhale to the center. Exhale, drift slightly to the right. Press the tops of the shoulders into the floor. Drop the sternum back to the spine. Drop back through the lower ribs, but push that hip, those hips and that pelvis up. And just drift side to side a little. And then lower yourself to the floor, vertebra on vertebra. Hug the knees into the chest. and then push the knees forward until the arms are straight. Bring the chin up on the chest, keep pushing the knees forward, and then just rock on that area of your spine. No force, just rock gently, and then slowly you should be coming further and further up to a seated position. And then as you do, you can start using a little bit of propulsion and roll through the whole spine. As you come up, try to keep your feet off the floor, so you're working into the pelvic floor. Lift the chest and drop the shoulders. And then roll back down. Take the legs out to straight. And what we're going to do is we're just going to loosen up the spine a little more. So you're going to dig the heels into the floor and start to point and flex the toes. Palms are down on the floor, and let the chin rock at the same time. So let the neck rock, and just keep flicking the toes backwards and forwards, flexing and pointing, digging the heels in, and just let the head nod. You can take a few deep breaths out here through the mouth if you like, because we're releasing a lot of energy, a lot of limbic imprint. Keep rocking. And then just slow it down, come into stillness, let the toes fall out to the sides, turn the palms up toward the sky. Feel that tingling sensation through the body. Created a lot of cellular movement through that rocking. Just help to release uneasy imprints from the limbic brain and the spine. Just feel the lymph in your groin opening now, releasing any pent-up tension, physical, emotional, or mental. Anything that's unhealthy for the body. And then allow the armpits to open, and just at the shoulder joint, around the armpit, the lymph glands here in the armpits, and again just letting them open, releasing any pent-up energy. And then just folding the arms over the chest, right arm above, left arm below. And let the shoulder blades spread open. Wrap your hands around your body. Give yourself a big hug. And then just relax and let the shoulders open. Imagine as the shoulder blades are stretching open, you're releasing any pent-up energy around your heart. And it's just releasing out between the shoulder blades. And then open the arms, change the arms. So the left arm on top, the right arm below. Wrap your arms around you again. Give yourself a big hug. Let the shoulder blades spread open. And take the breath into the back of the heart. Open the arms, take the arms over the head, stretch out through the whole body, arch the back off the floor, push the bottom and the shoulders into the floor, and then press the lower back into the floor, lift the shoulders and the bottom off the floor, and then release. Just roll onto the right side, rock yourself awake a little. And then slowly bring yourself up to sitting. And again, just taking 3 deep breaths up through the spine. So what we'll do now is we'll breathe in all the way from the base of the spine to the center of the head. And then breathe out the crown of the head to the universe. So full breath up through the spine. Exhaling out the crown to the universe. 2 more breaths like this. And then we're going to breathe in from the universe through the crown of the head. And breathe that out down to the base of the spine. Breathing in from the universe to the crown of the head. Breathing out that universal energy down through the spine. 1 more. Let the breath go. Bring the awareness to the heart. And then bring the hands together. Ida Nadi, the left, Pingala, the right, the moon, the sun, the female, the male, negative, the positive. Just let those energies come together in the palms of your hands. in harmony, uniting at your soul. Take a full breath in. Keep that energy moving inward. Click around you, seal off your aura. Namaste.